right. Okay. So, all right. I think we're both positioned good.
Okay.
So welcome back, Erica Burdick.
Hi.
And then just if you might need to scoot the thing just a little bit closer, the ideal distance is like 6 inches.
Okay.
That way we both have similar sounding level of voice in the podcast.
A learning curve.
But thank you so much for coming in and agreeing to do this podcast, because this is what allows us to get our stories out in the community and show impact results to the people who donate to our foundation, because we are a 100% donation-based foundation. Nothing that we do produces revenue. So
Right.
our revenue is donations. And instead of like somebody investing in a company looking for a monetary return on their investment, they're still looking for a return on their investment. And for that, it's impact results, stories of struggles and triumphs, and the people who have applied for and have received wellness grants.
Okay.
And we also interview wellness partners. So some of the practitioners that you met with.
Yep, they've told me that.
Some
yeah.
of them have been in here for podcasts, or maybe all of them. And then board members and community members and other mental health professionals. So this is our megaphone that we can speak to the world on.
All right.
So
Sounds great.
thank you for being here.
Not a problem.
So
I'm glad to be here.
all right, so Erica, you were one of the early on wellness grant recipients in this first quarter of 2025, and we had been experimenting over the last 4 or 5, 6 months on how we administer these grants and what we issue and the value of them and the process, and it's evolving every week. We're learning something new, and you were one of the lucky individuals who received 4 different things.
Yeah.
So you were awarded a Reiki session, a sound healing session, a holistic health coach session, and a hypnotherapy session.
Yes.
So I would love to just go through all 4 of those and hear your experience.
And okay, touch base on each one. The Reiki was amazing. Krista Silsby is wow. I don't even know how to put into words what kind of person she was. How can I say the whole experience was mind blowing. I didn't know what to expect. I had sort of dabbled into Reiki, read about it, never knew what to expect. I went in, I had a few issues. My intention was to grieving, trying to get rid of the grief that I was feeling. She achieved that. I felt the whole shift. I don't know how to put it into words. I'm laying there, and all of a sudden, my eyes started moving. When it got over, we discussed it, and I said my eyes were twitching. I could see, but my eyes were shut. And she said, "That's your third eye. It was opening up." And I mean, it was just I could tell exactly where she was at, and I swear my eyes were shut. I don't know how to even put into words how the experience felt.
So
it was amazing.
You were having visions at the end?
Yes, my daughter came to us during the session, and she said, "Mom, Mom, Mom," and I'm like, "Oh my!" I knew it was Megan because that's exactly how she would have spoke to me, to get my attention.
You heard it.
I heard it. I just about, it floored me. It really did. I don't know how to put into words the feeling that I left with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Christina, she's the holistic health coach, right?
Yeah, and you had one session with her.
One
is that right?
session with her. We probably could have sat there and talked for 3-4 hours. I mean, it flew. It just, the whole thing flowed. She had taught me a few breath work techniques. One was, I want to say, is alternate nostril breathing or something like
Nadi
that.
Shodhana. Yeah.
Is that okay? Yeah. And I've utilized that since, not being there when I'm at home. If I have anxiety or something going on, I'll do that. It led into me meditating again. I did that quite a few years ago, but lost touch with doing these kinds of things. I sort of was lost in my life, my feelings. I sort of went downhill. And I came back to it. I know that she teaches yoga also. So what did I do this morning? Because had high anxiety about coming in here. YouTube, found a yoga channel. I'm like, beginner's yoga. I can do this, because each one of them, I think it was Leah and Christina, both gave me some yoga poses to do or suggested them.
Okay.
And I tried to do some of them, couldn't really figure out, which one was what am I doing this right? So YouTube's been a great friend of mine during this. Then there is Leah, and she does the sound bath, and she had me lay down and try it. We had a great discussion also, and she said, do you want to see what it's like? And I said, yeah, I do. When she started playing, I think there was a pyramid she started out with, I could feel the electrical pulses going up my leg. And it was, to me, I'm just amazed on how these things work, because total skeptic. Granted, I've read about them, but I haven't ever experienced anything. Wow, that's all. I mean, what else can I say? How do you explain these things that are just happening? They work. They're on cue. I'm not going to say they're a cure-all, but they do something to your mind, your whole body. You can tell a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. That it's been my experience with some of those sessions too, where it leaves you speechless. You really can't put a word to it. It's just wow and I think that is a good word to explain it, because when people are wondering what some of these holistic modalities can do to help us, whether it's relieve stress or release trauma, or just learn new tools and tricks to keep in our toolbox.
Exactly. Every single one of them have reached out afterwards. How are you doing? How are you feeling? Charlie, with the hypnotherapy. Oh, wow. I didn't have a place that would be real quiet. They offered me space at the office. So I went in there, and everyone was willing to help. Do you need headphones that are soundproof, or do you need this? Do you need that? I was just amazed at the outpouring of caring that came from them. But that experience was, and that was just Monday night, I think, is when I had that session with her.
So you did an online session with Charlie, the hypnotherapist.
Correct.
But you did it at Krista's office or Christina's office.
Well, I actually was in the sauna room.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they left that door open for me.
Okay,
So,
nice.
Leah had offered her office, but I had done it there. And there was nobody there. When I walked in, there was one person. I think she might have been the massage therapist. I'm not for sure, but we've got this, and make yourself at home. And it was great because there was no sound. She tapped into my inner child. How she did it, I don't know. I mean, it was all through voice and coaching you through it, and looking deeper into yourself.
Yeah.
In the past couple of days, I had started having, was it Friday? I don't remember what day it was. I think I had the weekend. I think it was Friday night. It wasn't Monday. And, I could feel myself slipping into a depression, but I pulled myself out of it using the self-talk that she had chosen me, talk to your younger self. And, okay, Erica, how are you feeling, and why are you doing this, and why, what do you think is going to happen if you let yourself go? So meditation, burning some Palo Santo, it all helped. It brought me out of that. It was something that I don't know if, I think that maybe it started occurring because of the fact that I was thinking so much of my life, and then that's what I was touching base with, was all the things that I've done and all the things that have occurred to me. I was sad.
Yeah.
I needed to bring myself out of it.
Yeah, dwelling on the past, or
Yes.
just feeling sorry for past events.
Yes, mistakes.
But then using these tools to come back to the present, appreciate your breath. Is that what you felt?
Exactly.
Able
exactly.
to just sort of reset, calm, get back in the moment.
Yes.
We're alive.
Yes. Yes. And what was another one that started looking up boxed breathing,
Okay. Yeah.
and I used that, and
The
that
4,
works
4,
well.
4, 4.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and you hold your breath for 4.
Yeah.
Yes.
So in for 4, hold for 4,
Out
for
for 4, hold for
hold
4.
for 4.
Yeah, and that works too.
Okay.
I was amazed at just simple little things like breathing and the effects it has on you, how calming it is.
Yeah. The breath is an amazing gift that we usually don't think about because we don't have to. It just
Exactly.
happens automatically.
Exactly.
And it's such a unique bodily function that way because it's not that we can tell our blood pressure to increase or decrease or our heart rate.
Right.
But we can breathe however we want, and we can not think about it if we don't want to also.
Exactly. You know, it amazes me too. I was thinking about this, and actually I was speaking to Charlie about it, how they're so apt. Is it Western medicine? How do you describe, you know, like a normal therapist versus an alternative therapist? You know, I don't know how to put that into words, but how when you go see a therapist or a psychologist, they just want to give you a pill. That pill only masks things or makes it worse for you. You know, they don't show you techniques really to learn how to control how you're feeling or to really work on that. And I find that these alternatives, are they even considered alternatives? You know, I think that they're more useful than I almost think that the regular therapist, you know, is more of the alternative because they're just giving you something that puts a Band-Aid on the situation.
Yeah, like
which is actually helping.
like not putting any of those labels or any of these modalities in a box, because we do think we traditionally growing up, what is a therapist? Well, going to a clinic and laying on a couch and having somebody ask a question, how does that make you feel?
Exactly.
Maybe you need a pill. But I think that is really becoming quickly outdated. I think there's a lot of therapists also in our network that are licensed clinician type psychotherapists that are
Right.
licensed, but also have a majority of their practice deals with teaching of wellness and mindfulness, and
Right.
where even some of them that have the ability to issue prescriptions for different sort of anxiety or depression related drugs, pharmaceuticals, they still maybe use those as last resort, or maybe like an emergency type, or just like, okay, there's certain situations where a person needs these symptoms
Right.
alleviated because the time that it takes to learn the tools and adapt, and it's so hard to change a human habit, right?
Exactly.
And it's so helpful to be able to do that more successfully if you're willing,
Right.
like
right.
you are. But for many of us who struggle and get to those points in our life where we're not even, we're still in the denial phase.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes that's when those pharmaceuticals can be kind of a crutch,
Right.
but temporary to lean on to then, okay, eventually come back. The power to heal is within us.
I was just going to say that. Yes, exactly. It's within you. You
Right.
have to want it.
Right, it's not Krista or Christina or Leah or Charlie. They are teachers who are teaching us these tools we can keep in our toolbox for us to help ourselves,
Exactly.
so we can transform and grow. And if you want to use the word heal, we can use the word heal. But I
Transform and grow, yeah. I like
transform and
that.
grow it sits better with me because I don't think that any of us are broken. And I don't think any of us are, we could call them emotional wounds, but we're just human.
Right.
And we're all dealing with the ups and downs of life. And it seems to me that it's kind of the purpose of humanity to go to this planet for this period of time to learn
Exactly.
and grow. And people like you that apply for help or ask for help, not just with our foundation, but with anyone, just being open with the conversation to open up and talk about these things without any stigma, or just being brave enough to have that conversation because there has been a stigma attached to it for so long. So that's why it makes me so proud of you.
Thank you. I was apprehensive, like I said, and I found you just. I'm browsing through the internet, looking for crystals, I think is what I was looking up that day, and this ad comes by, Tinman, oh my, and what's this? Okay. I need to check it out more. I need to look further into this. And yeah, when I found you, that was awesome. That was like, yeah, I needed it. I needed to be here.
Very cool. And you went through your, let's see, do I have a date on here? 2/26. Grant issued. The grant was issued on January 27th.
Yeah.
And so in 1 month you completed all 4. So you went bang, 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 bang.
Yeah.
And I know you waited on Charlie for a little while. Otherwise you would have been in here earlier.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. You really stepped up to the plate and did your sessions, and that's the reason we turned the grant process into a 3-phase,
Okay.
because we didn't want anyone coming in with the expectation that we have any magic pills to give out.
Right.
Right. We want to reward work, and you've done that.
You have to want to put the work into it. You know? Yeah.
And that makes it a wise investment on our end to use our funds more efficiently, to make sure that they're just not being wasted, and that whoever is being awarded these grants is going to appreciate and do the work, and then come back and be eligible for another coin.
Yeah, the coins are great. You know, it was a learning curve, I think, for all of us. You know, the ladies themselves. You know, what did he give you for a coin? I said, well, there's this little image you have to scan. Oh, okay, and one couldn't do it. Well, can you send me it again? Yeah. So it worked out great.
And they're learning too. They've been bearing with me with the whole process, because we just sort of inventing this and realizing some tweaks we can make along the way. And so I think now the providers the partners are used to how that works, and it's been pretty slick. I figured out a way to make it so when they scan their code and fill out to make a request for payment, I automatically get a text to my phone. So then it reminds me, go pay Leah,
Okay.
or whoever.
Right.
So-
Okay.
So
Yeah, that
you
was a question that they had. Yeah.
did you feel that, because there's different types of wellness treatments, I guess, if we can put those in a big umbrella, that that teach us tools, and then there's ones that relieve stress but maybe don't teach us anything. Like for example, imagine going to a spa, like a do-it-yourself sauna or something,
Right.
where you go in and you know you're going to go experience this sort of therapy, but nobody's there. You're just kind of on your own. You go in, you sit for the half hour, you feel better, you relieve some stress, but then you walk out the door and you go home. What did you learn?
You didn't learn anything. You basically went in there and yeah, you detoxed yourself for the
Right.
most part. But
Right. So it's a form of self-care. But what and not that any of those are bad,
right.
but we really want to tie each coin into at least one of these providers or services that help us come away with tools, or walk away with tools or more knowledge.
Right.
Did you feel that each one of your providers or partners that you saw for your sessions gave you something to take away?
Definitely. Obviously, I went away. I utilized, the breathing techniques on my own. I'm trying to think of everything that I learned. I think I learned more from seeing Christina and speaking to her. We didn't really go in depth and do any of the breath work itself.
Okay.
We discussed it. But it gave me the knowledge to look into it myself and use some of that. A lot of it is diet. What foods are you eating? That plays a lot on your mentality, and you don't realize it.
Mm-hmm.
With Leah, she's just amazing. She's reached out the most. She's
Isn't
really
she amazing?
almost every other day. It seems like I'm getting a text. If you want to come in here and you want to journal, you can just come sit. Come on in. She's great.
Yeah, she's like the follow-up queen.
Yeah, I
She-
noticed that.
She's messaged me before, early hours of the morning, and my wife one time, after we were dealing with a lot with our oldest child.
Right.
And we had a really long night. It was a really stressful night. It was kind of a dark night. And she sensed that, like she has this
I-
sense to her.
yes.
And she
Like
reached
she's
out.
clairvoyant or something.
Yeah. And she dropped off. She's like, I don't know what it is. I just have a feeling you need this. And she dropped off this care package to our house that was, this scrubbing salt and this scent thing. And there was like four
That's great.
different things in there. And that's the thing that I love so much about Leah and Christina and Krista and Charlie. I know all of them well. I've utilized all their services. And what they provide is one thing, but the care and attention they give to
genuinely
you,
care.
the
They're
genuine, the genuineness, the authenticity that they have, and the care, the non-judgment that you feel, just
Exactly.
you're just comfortable to open up,
Yes.
and that's 90% of it.
Yeah. No.
What they do, and on the side, that's just sort of icing on the cake. You know,
Yeah,
just-
Leah did that with me, actually. One day I was feeling, I was down. I had an issue with my son-in-law that my daughter had passed away. And he just wasn't being himself either. You know, you go through the different phases of grief and the anger, he's into the anger phase now. And she had called me and said, Erica, is there something going on? Do you need a place to come in? You know, you're welcome to come in. Do you want to come have tea? And I'm like, how did she know? This just happened the night prior. And I'm like, yeah, I'll definitely come in for tea. And then I met somebody else who works there, who's another Reiki named Megan, and she was great too. She said, can I sit in on this? I don't have to. I said, yeah, come on and sit down.
Yeah.
So it was great. Everybody makes you feel comfortable that you can talk to any of them. So, yeah,
Yeah.
it's an amazing group of people.
Yeah, it is, and they're all in this little collective up there, and
Yeah.
it's pretty neat.
You got one walking in and, you know, do you need this? Do you need that? It's great.
Yeah, and that apothecary up there with all their tea,
Yeah.
it's so neat.
Yeah, and the crystals.
Yeah, right.
I thought that was
know.
great.
Right. So you're into crystals.
I'm into crystals, yeah.
Did you get any when you were up there?
I haven't bought any yet,
No?
you know, yeah. I have to find which one talks to me.
Yeah.
I was looking for something specific, and they didn't have exactly what I wanted. They did have a couple that I wanted, but see, do I really want them, or are they talking to me? So I'm going to give it some time.
Sure. Yeah. Wait till they call you,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So you got 4 out of the, I don't know what it is, 15 maybe, different sorts of practitioners that we have access
Right.
to in our network. So I just wanted to go through a list of, and I don't have it here, but I'll just go off the top of my head here. So you've experienced Reiki
Yes.
and sound and health coaching and hypnotherapy. We'll come back to those to
Okay.
talk about maybe which ones you may want to explore a deeper dive in. But I'm just gonna rattle off a few other ones and see if how they sound to you.
Okay.
Meditation coaching. Is that anything that you sound interested in?
Possibly. I don't know if I really need coaching in that, because that's something I've done before, and I'm fairly comfortable with meditation.
Okay.
What I was going to say about these, a lot of them, like the sound bath or the hypnotherapy, they almost connect together with breath work. You almost need breath work to get the most out of the other two.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah.
Last time I did Reiki was the first Reiki session I had after a breathwork session the day prior.
Okay.
And I laid on the table, and Chris has never advised me to do this before, and I think she just doesn't do it by habit because a lot of people aren't familiar with breathwork.
Right.
And so, but I just said, Krista, I think I'm going to do breathwork during my Reiki, and I did a heavy breathwork. It was so really deep, really full, like you can't get any more air in your lungs, and then on the exhale, get it all out, get all that air out of your lungs, and making sure that exhale is longer than the inhale. And did it for the whole, I want to say 20-minute session, and then I got to the point of the breath hold, and those breath holds are so amazing. So breath work, that was the next
Yeah,
thing I
yeah,
was going to say.
okay.
Is that something that you sound interested in, breath work?
Yes and no. Yeah. I mean, obviously, because it's important, you know.
Why is the no?
There's no to it. It's just
Oh.
all the other options. So I'm giving myself a chance to hear the other options.
Yoga.
Yoga. Actually, yes, but I need what did I look up on YouTube? Give me the senior citizen yoga, because, over 50, give me that. You're not necessarily senior citizen, but I'm not, I'm a little bit tighter than I used to be in issues, with my back, which honestly, I'm going to say the Reiki session in the sound bath, my back felt great for the next week and a half, and it's just starting to wake up now. So, I mean, it helped physically, not only mentally, but physically also.
Yeah, no doubt. I've been addicted to yoga for the last few years and got my certification to teach it.
Oh, did you? That's great.
I still have to submit 3 classes before I can technically graduate. So I've
Okay.
been, like, the last 6 months just putting that off. But we are organizing a group outdoor yoga here it's either going to be end of April or early May, whenever the weather looks like nice enough where we can do
Okay.
that on a yoga sunrise or high noon yoga, not on a hot day. But
So I better get working on these YouTube ones. I can get in there and go and half know what I'm talking about and
I love
consort myself.
YouTube yoga. My favorite my favorite yoga teacher, period, is Adrienne Mishler, and she is she's about 40 years old. I think she just turned 40 years old. She has
Okay.
about 13 or 14 million followers. She's by far the most successful YouTube yogi,
Okay.
and she has I think it's Adrienne with one N. You just Google yoga with Adrienne, and she'll
Okay.
pop up on YouTube. But then once you get into her channel, or you type in yoga Adrienne and then a different word, you can say yoga.
Beginner.
Yeah, beginner.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Or nighttime, or bedtime, or gentle, or the keywords, or what's hurting, low back,
Right.
hips, neck, shoulders. Google those words next to yoga with Adrienne, and most of her videos are average like 20 minutes, but there's ones that are 10 minutes, and there's full 1 hour yoga sessions in there.
Okay.
But she's such an amazing, gentle teacher that she has, I don't know how many episodes, but she has a yoga for everything. Like, you can almost think
Right.
of any word, and she has a yoga for
That's
it.
great.
Yoga for runners, she probably has yoga for baseball players. I don't know. I mean, just like anything and everything. So,
Okay. I'll have to look into her.
and I point you in that direction right now because we don't currently have any yoga teachers that are actively teaching classes in Reedsburg right now that are in our wellness network.
Okay.
There is a yoga studio popping up here very soon. There used to be one over on Viking Drive. They closed down. Now the rumor is that those same group of yoga teachers is opening up a studio over by the Pizza Ranch strip mall.
Okay.
So I'm really crossing my fingers that happens, because my wife and I loved to go there on Sunday mornings for
that's
whatever
great.
reason. That was like our church. We would go
Right.
there, and it's just a great way to start a Sunday morning, or any morning really.
Right. Okay.
But yoga with Adrienne is free,
All right.
and then let's see, what else am I missing here? We just had a lady yesterday come in, and she did a podcast with us.
Okay.
Her name is Deb Burrows, and she runs she's a cosmetologist in Baraboo, but in her shop she has these separate rooms. It's called Salt and Sound Wellness Spa, and she has these different beds in there. There's one that is Salt and Sound. So salt, she was explaining on the podcast, I'll send it to you when we're done here, on the benefits of it. The salt, like salt is just naturally detoxifying and naturally antibacterial because of its crystalline form.
Okay.
Nothing can stick to it. Nothing can survive on it. So it's just naturally healing. And the sauna that she has is infrared.
Okay.
And infrared heat is a different sort of heat than just like burning fire.
Right.
It's a heat that heats you from the inside out. And so there's when you sweat, it's like 80 or 90% toxin coming out of your
Coming out of
body
it,
instead of just water. And then that infrared heat in the sauna is coupled up with the salt in the air. It's like this salt is it's industrial grade salt processed into like a powder form, so it can be breathed. And
Yeah, I'm trying to picture it. That's okay.
yeah, you won't see it because it's just dust.
Okay.
And it's not like eating salty food where you increase your
It's not
blood
a salt
pressure.
block.
Yeah, it's not going through your digestive system. It's going into your lungs. And just a lot of benefits are claimed from it. A lot of research has been done to show positive outcomes from salt therapy.
Okay.
And then there's also a, what did she call it? Forgot the name of it, but it's a different room that you go in and you lay on this sound mat, and it's sound healing with headphones. And apparently these binaural beats are received better or more directly when you are using headphones versus just live instruments. So it's
Okay.
like deeper or more direct, I guess. And so then that incorporates red light therapy. So it's like
Okay.
all these things in one.
All in one.
And it's kind of a do-it-yourself. You go in, again, kind of one of those things where you're not necessarily going to go in there and learn new tools, but you might discover something you can add to your routine that you can use as one of your tools for just self-care, and also inducing
Sounds
like a
interesting,
very
yeah.
meditative state. Because a lot of times, I mean, I meditate a lot, and a lot of times I feel like, okay, that was a successful session. I just sat there for an hour and I had some visions and I was able to clear my thoughts. But then there's other times it's like, oh man, it's not a good day for Gatlin to meditate because I just can't get my mind
Yep.
stopping from racing. But sometimes these sound sessions, or like these the different things that Deb offers in Baraboo, just kind of like puts you into
Put you
that,
in the meditative
puts you in
state
that
right
state.
away.
Yeah,
Okay.
whether you're trying or not, you're there.
Yeah, that makes a difference.
And she gave us some coupons, so I'll send you home with one of those so you can go try it.
Okay.
And
I've heard that name, Deb Burrows, but I don't know where. Maybe I read about her
Okay.
on Facebook, maybe.
sure, she's got a lot going on in her collective over there.
Okay.
They're across the street from Queenstown Lounge on South Boulevard.
Oh, okay. She's on South Boulevard. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know where that is.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then let's see what else. I'm trying to think who else was. I don't have the list in front of me, but the breath work. The breath work. We've had a couple wellness grant recipients on the podcast that have talked about their breathwork experience, and those have been profound. And it's not just like a lot of us when we think of breathwork is like gentle, slow, deep, easy breathing type breathwork, which is
Right.
really relaxing. But some of this breathwork is pretty intense, and it's what it sounds like. It's work,
Right. Yeah.
and but boy, does
The benefits
the
outweigh.
releases, the visions that you can have, the epiphanies or the breakthroughs, those are real things that are happening.
Yeah. Right.
And there's also some of our partners that do like psychedelic assisted integration therapy,
Yeah.
and there's been people who have experienced very profound psychedelic experiences that have also experimented with breath work, and they have found more profound impacts from the breath work.
Okay.
It's a natural
Yeah,
psychedelic.
Christina had mentioned some of that.
It's natural, and breath is free, right?
Right. Exactly.
So all you need is one good coaching session, and then you got that in your toolbox forever. So I would love to issue your second coin to include breathwork and experience that salt and sound sauna in Baraboo.
That'd be great. I'm interested.
right.
I'm game.
And then you do that, and one more follow up. You don't feel obligated to do another podcast
Oh,
by
I don't
any
mind
means.
doing it. Yeah.
But you're totally welcome back for that too.
I'm more at ease now that we started and went through it, like
Okay,
you
good.
said, than I was in the beginning. I think you can tell the difference in my voice too. It's
Yeah.
not shaking like it was.
You didn't notice, but you're doing great. You're
Thank
doing
you.
great. Yeah, so we'll do that, and then we'll follow up one more time. And then there's also a lot of community events coming down the pipe. There is Oh, this is another one you might really like. In April, every Tuesday morning, I think either 8:30 or 9:30 in April, if that time would work for you, there's a group hike / guided meditation, and it's just, so it's only four times. Maybe there's 5. I'm not sure how many Tuesdays are in April, but it's just a great way not just to get outside, but like to connect with community. You're gonna meet people. You're
Right. Yeah, no, that sounds great.
Yeah.
I'd be interested in that.
Okay, so we'll throw that in there too.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds interesting. Yeah, I'm game.
All right. Well, then sounds like I'll probably be seeing you in May.
All right. I'll see you in May.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for coming in.
Oh, not a problem.